Last time on Square Roots, Nanako straight up dies, we consider murder, Nanako gets better, and Teddy has an existential crisis. Later, our hearts are broken when we learn that our sweet, floppy-haired Adachi is a murderous incel who's best friends with an eyeball. Well, we'll always have Japanese Walmart. Adachi!
Hey everyone, and welcome to Square Roots, the classic RPG podcast. My name is Jim Banks. I am joined by Matthew Van Zant.
Persona!
John Izanami Brandon.
Persona!
And Vanessa.
Wow, it's a bear!
And this is a podcast where we play and talk about your favorite classic RPGs. Today we are going to finish up our series on Persona 4.
RPGs, this game was long.
It was.
I just made that joke like 2 weeks ago, John.
I know.
He did.
But we finished it. We all finished it.
We did, every single one of us.
And that's not ironic. We really did all finish it.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time that happened.
I even sent, picture proof that I finished this game to the gang. Because I don't think they believed me about Persona 3, was it?
We all finished Final Fantasy 7, so not that long ago.
No, I guess that's true.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, we are... Oh, hold on. Should we talk about the vote up top?
If you want to. Yeah.
It's over, isn't it?
It's
okay, yeah,
over.
but we can announce a winner.
Oh, yeah, we announce a winner.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, guess what won out of the potential choices of Fable 2, Kingdom Hearts 2,
beloved classic that tons of people love,
Fallout 3,
The reinvention of the Fallout franchise that launched Bethesda into the stratosphere.
and Bowser's Inside Story?
A game nobody has heard of, and I still believe does not technically count as a sequel for our years of sequels.
I voted alongside you in that vote, Vanessa. Somehow, John and Jim just did whatever they wanted, and it worked. Because Bowser's Inside Story was the winner. Can you fucking believe it? You know what? You know what? At least it wasn't a tie. It was a tie with 30 minutes left this time. How is it always a tie? There's 90 fucking voters, and it's always a tie.
So
do you know
I think
how
they do it on purpose to bother us.
I think
do you guys
you're
know
right.
if the listeners are concerned about the number of ties that we have, maybe they should join the Patreon, and then they can cast their own vote, and that will reduce the odds of encountering a tie in the future.
That's true, and we have talked recently about upping the number of games that we do votes for per year, though we're still hammering that out, so we're not going to make any promises right now, but all that matters is Bowser's Inside Story is your next Square Roots game, and we've already all played it.
Did you know that the game that Bowser won the vote on Bowser Day 8-4?
What?
It's
Hilarious.
true. And yesterday was Vor Day.
Okay.
There's no such thing as
There
Vor
is no
Day.
such thing
Come
as Vor
on.
Day. I will not
Vor Day
acknowledge
is
this.
every day in your heart.
Do you know why it's Vor Day?
No. Because it's 7, 8, 9?
9.
Is it 8, 9?
Yeah. Oh, wait, that's tomorrow, I guess.
You fucking dork. 7, 8 maybe? No, because this wasn't a month ago. This was like a week ago.
Yeah, I don't know then. But apparently yesterday was 4 day. I assumed it was 8, 9, but no, that's tomorrow.
So if anybody has gotten a little burned out with us covering these massive, character-driven JRPGs with these complicated, not actually that complicated, because you just kind of fight God in the end, plots, we've got good news for you. The next game doesn't have a plot.
Yes, it does.
Bowser eat Mario and Luigi, and then they live in his tum-tum. That's the game.
There's blorps.
There's blorps.
And
There are blorps. I was not expecting them. I went in fully anticipating one bizarre kink, but there is more than one.
Just wait until you explore his body more. It gets weird.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about that next week on your new season of Square Roots versus Bowser's Inside Story. Are all of our seasons
You
named
asked
Square
for
Roots
it.
versus a thing? They should be. That's a good
I
format.
don't think we've ever said that about a mainline
No,
game.
and in fact, Square Roots versus is something else that we've already established as a thing.
What's another
That's a
word for
bonus thing.
for versus? Vorses is what I said. What's another word
man.
for versus?
forces.
All right. Moving on, we should talk about how we all leveled up. Before we dive into this, actually, let me just say this real quick. Before we dive into this, the final episode of Persona 4!
Yay!
Whoa.
Whoa, we did it. We did already talk about that, didn't we?
Finally. I did say that. Yeah.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Hey, are we all going to give our final reviews at the end of this
Yes.
episode?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll just go ahead and tell you
No.
right now that
No.
no,
Not listening.
no, that's not how it works.
Can I
Level up
skip-
time.
No.
Level
for the
up
next
time.
rank episode, just go ahead and move this one to the top. Hey, Johnny,
Yeah.
how did you level up, pal?
Well, I asked Matt what to order at the Taco Bell, and I did it.
You did. Why
Except-
did you do that? It's not like I
don't
was
know.
talking about Taco Bell.
I was just hungry, and I was like, I should get some Taco Bell, but I always forget what to order. So and Matt gave me a list of things to order. He says I didn't know if I was supposed to get a Mega Crunch Wrap Supreme or a regular Crunch Wrap, because he just said Crunch Wrap. And then they screwed up my order and gave me lots of extra food, so there's plenty of it in the fridge.
Do you guys remember back in the Halcyon days when they had the double decker crunch wrap?
No.
Does anybody else remember that? Did I
Yeah.
dream that?
No, I remember that thing. It was amazing. That Crunch Wrap
Yeah.
is like the best thing on the menu because it's nice and softy on the outside and it's crunchy raunchy on the inside. It's yummy. Like
I haven't
a
had it
person in
yet.
my tummy. I love it. Oh, you
The
haven't
best
eaten
thing
it
I
yet?
had, no, the best thing I had so far is the steak quesadilla. That was really good. Why are
You say
looking at me like-
I
quesadilla
don't-
really weird. Quesadilla?
Yeah,
Quesadilla?
quesadilla.
It's his accent. Don't make fun of his accent. I don't eat Taco Bell, but they are, of course, my favorite company because they gave me a golden PlayStation 4.
That's true.
That's true. So
So,
really,
s-
you're biased and shouldn't even talk about Taco Bell.
Yeah, I have to recuse myself from this discussion because I've been bought.
John's
Yay.
talk of Taco Bell prompted me to go to Taco Bell. And I just want to tell anybody that was curious about it, that grilled cheese burrito they keep advertising on television is a gloopy, slimy mess. Don't even fuck with that.
Oh,
I also went to Taco Bell today.
Oh my God!
And I had a steak quesarito.
I had that. That was really good. Although I
I
think
have
the
that.
the quesadilla is better.
Vanessa, here in the Square Roots house, we do have a no farting policy, so we just wanted to let you know you don't have to worry about it while we're all sitting around this table. Now, once I get back to my room, it's my business what goes on in there.
That's why we have 18 fans in Matt's room.
Matt's room is just a hot box of fun.
Yeah.
When you say 18 fans, do you mean like people who really like farts?
Yeah, no, people who really like me, and they just hang out in my room and cheer me on. That's kind of how I get through the day, so don't judge me.
It's like your own Owen Dan / Elite Beat Agent squad cheering you on through the day. So I also watched a TV show while chatting with Jim as I watched it. It is called I Think You Should Leave. I finished it. I watched the last 4 episodes. They were fun. I had
How
some
many
laughs.
episodes was the season?
6.
Mm-hmm.
Each one's like 15 minutes long.
Yeah, like 15 or 16 minutes.
Yeah. The best sketch, I think, was maybe the Porno Mags one, Honk If You're Horny.
The honk if you're horny sketch.
I
That's a
did
classic.
like the one where the guy's like, follow me in the key of G. And he starts singing this song.
Yeah.
Everyone's like jazzing along with him. And then someone starts inventing his own lyrics.
Yeah, if you guys have ever seen like the Walk Hard movie, is it the one with Joaquin Phoenix where he plays Johnny Cash? Walk the line.
Walk the line,
I
yeah.
think, right?
Walk Hard is the Dewey Cox story.
Oh yeah.
Walk Hard.
Walk the line.
I just
where
watched
he,
that
like,
recently. Can we talk about Walk Hard instead?
I want to watch
No,
that.
but like on Walk the Line where he sings the song in the booth for the record executives, like from the hip, he kind of does it from memory, and he's like, play along. They do that, but then the bassist jumps in with talking about skeletons coming to life and their bones being their money.
Yep. That was a very good sketch. So yeah, I don't think I'm a fan of it to the level Jim is. Oh no, actually, you know what the best sketch was? It's the nacho rules.
Oh,
Where
a guy makes a host at a restaurant tell his date that there's a rule against eating all the fully loaded nachos.
Yep.
Because he doesn't feel like he's getting enough nachos.
She's like, well, I just saw you talk to that host for like 5 minutes. What?
Yeah. And then he walked over. Yeah, what?
No, I just went over there to tell him I don't like the rules.
She's like, you just learned about the rule when he came over.
It's a good sketch. Anyway, so Vanessa, how did you level up?
I watched a movie called Jim. What's it called?
Vivarium.
That's what I watched. I wrote down Valerium, which is an entirely different movie. I watched a movie called Vivarium. I did not care for it. It's about that guy who's not Shia LaBeouf and Imogen Poots. And
Yes, she does.
and
she's
they
talking about Jesse Eisenberg, by the way.
yeah, Jesse Eisenberg and Imogen Poots.
Wait, what did she call him?
And I called
That
him the
guy
guy
who's-
who's not Shia LaBeouf,
Oh,
which is
yeah,
very
yeah.
accurate.
Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah, Mark Zuckerberg and Imogen Poots, and they are house hunting, and they go to look at this like weird suburban development, and then they get stuck there, and shit happens. And I just didn't care for it because it has no character arc whatsoever. It's like they start the movie being uncomfortable and unhappy with their situation, and that never changes. So it was almost like torture porn, but it's not gory and graphic. But it's like that kind of movie where like there's no learning, there's no good to it. It's just like, here's a weird situation. Isn't this weird? And it sucks. Okay, it's over. I think it would have worked better as a Black Mirror episode, or maybe even a series where there were more characters and people to interact with. I didn't like it. Also, I continue to have my life ruined by playing PUBG all the time. Accidentally, I was playing with my friends Johnny and Jim, and we picked, I say we, it was I didn't know there was a difference between choosing the 3-man squad map and the squad map. So we were put into a 4-person squad. We panicked when we saw there was another person there. Then even worse, he started talking to us. His name was Gamer Man, and he wanted us to play the game like for real, and he had plans and strategies. It was very bad. So I did speak to him. I apologized. He was very gracious, and then he did die right away. But Jim and I did pretty well, and I hit someone with a frying pan. The end.
I kind of suspect that Gamer Man did jump off a cliff.
Just to
You
kill
think he
himself
killed
to get
himself?
away
Yep.
from us. Yeah, that's it. That's all I do. Watch bad movies and play PUBG. Then I got very drunk and I got 6 kills with my sniper rifle.
Heck yeah.
Sweet.
Johnny. No, Johnny went already.
Wait,
Jimmy.
I can tell. Vanessa, I also saw a very special screening of Bill and Ted 3.
What? No, you didn't.
What?
I did. However,
You saw Bill and Ted 3?
it was in my mind because I was sleeping.
Fuck you. You fucking look at me and Jim. Look at us. Look at us.
Somebody say Bill and Ted?
And so it was going pretty normally, as you'd expect the film to. And then it cut to Paget Brewster and Paul F. Tompkins playing themselves. And they started having like hardcore graphic sex. Like you saw everything.
That sounds great.
And
Tell
I was
me
like,
more.
I don't-
Rewind.
this
Go
seems-
back.
this
Where
is a-
were they?
they were in a bedroom.
Were they on the bed, on the side of the bed, middle of the bed?
One of them was standing and one of them was on the. Anyway,
What was Paul wearing before this started?
a robe.
Oh, just a robe?
Yeah, like
Okay.
a classy robe, like a Hugh Hefner robe.
Nice. And did he have a fedora on?
No, he did not.
Okay, but the mustache was there,
for
right?
sure.
Okay, I'm picturing it.
And I just remember thinking, this seems like a weird move for a kids movie. This seems just seems out of place. So that was my dream screening of Bill and Ted 3. Anyway, back Vanessa, who's gonna level up next?
I had a dream too, you know. I keep dreaming that I'm going to like vacation. And it's very upsetting because nobody is wearing masks and I have to like travel, and then there's always children in my space. Like wherever I go, there's little sticky fingered children breathing on me. It's terrible. That's my dream. Jimmy, how did you level up?
Ooh, I also watched a movie.
What?
I decided to re-up my subscription to Shudder, and I watched it's kind of got a little bit of buzz now. It is it's a horror movie that takes place entirely over Zoom. It's like a Zoom horror movie.
Oh, that sounds terrible.
And I will say that the premise of it is stupid. It's like,
Is
let's
it
have
Unfriended?
No, that movie sucks. This one, like a bunch of girls decide to do this fun little seance over Zoom, and then I think they say disrespect a spirit, and then they all get haunted, but it's all over Zoom, and like it sounds stupid, but it's actually a pretty decent little horror movie.
Okay.
It's got some good scares. It's got some a lot of camera tricks that happen over Zoom, which is pretty cool. So I will recommend it. Oh, I think it's called Host, by the way. The movie is called Host, and it is on Shudder, and everyone should check it out.
Wasn't there a Korean horror film called that too?
That's The Host,
Oh.
and that is a Bong Joon-ho movie.
I've heard that's good.
It is good. Matt, how did you level up?
I watched a movie. I saw an advertisement on Twitter for a live screening of the movie Coming to America on a website called CYA.something. I don't know. And the live screening had Griffin Newman and Lauren Lapkus and Nicole Byer.
nailed it.
And that sounded like a good time. Coming to America is a very good movie. Written by Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy in most of the roles. Pretty interesting. Pretty interesting movie. Like R-rated comedy in the 80s. I'm sure you're all familiar with it. Coming to America. It's a goddamn delight.
Sure.
And that sounded like a good time, so I paid $5 and I did watch along. I'll be honest with you, by about halfway through, maybe 2/3 of the way through, I did finally just decide to mute them because, frankly, they did not talk about the movie or seem to be watching it in any way, shape, or form. They just kind of had their own side conversation about, like, the pandemic and working in Hollywood and stuff. Not exactly what I was signing up for there, but Coming to America was pretty fucking great. So eventually I just muted them and watched the movie. It did have a really neat little function where you could control the volume of the movie and the volume of the people on the quote unquote stage, both as a group and individually, which was pretty cool. I really liked the format. I would really like to see like the Flophouse or How Did This Get Made people do something like that, or the Mystery Science Theater 3000 people. It was a pretty neat concept. I'll definitely check it out again for sure. So that's how I leveled up. I watched Coming to America with a bunch of celebrities talking over it.
Let's turn on the Midnight Channel right now.
What's the song? Bum, 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 bum. Why are you guys doing Jurassic Park?
Welcome to the Midnight Channel.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
Nanako finds a way.
I can't quite remember where we left off, but this is definitely the episode where things are going 100% cuckoo bonkers bananas. Where did we leave off last time?
We captured Adachi and he was going to prison.
Okay.
Okay, so Vanessa was like, well, what'd you do for your Christmas Eve date? And we're all like, we didn't go on any Christmas Eve date. Vanessa, you must be mixing it up. Vanessa was right.
Of course I was. And, I've learned to just let these things go and wait for the listeners to correct you because you'll listen to them and not to me. And that's fine. I'm not like keeping a list or anything like that. I don't hold a grudge.
Oh, gosh. We failed, Vanessa. I didn't go on one.
You didn't go on a date?
I don't think so.
No? I wanted to ask, where does the game end if you're not playing Golden?
That's a good question.
Vanessa?
As I recall...
Actually, you know what? I don't think Vanessa's right. I wanted... No, I'm sorry. No, please, Vanessa. Sorry. Please go on.
Vanessa's mad.
It's not just on the show. Like today, I was standing next to a 4x scope and I'm like, hey, there's a 4x scope right here on this balcony. And then 5 minutes later, I hear, whoa, there's a 4x scope up here. Oh, golly, oh boy. That's my Jim impression.
I mean, not everybody's listening all the time. We all got stuff going on while we're playing PUBG.
I think that communication is the key.
Do you use
any
the ping
successful
function?
Partnership. No, I don't know how.
Well,
I ping stuff all the time.
mm-hmm.
He does.
Pinging
Maybe I
things
need
is
to
good.
learn to use the ping thing.
Yes.
Maybe Jim's more of a visual learner.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. I'm not considering how each individual best receives information. There's no one universal way. Just because I'm more auditory in how I consume information doesn't mean that other people don't need visual or hands-on experience.
That's very mature of you, Vanessa.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Thank you for this lesson. I feel like I've learned a lot.
So
Thank you.
In response to your question,
Yeah.
I don't remember.
God damn it.
I feel like, I do know that I think it does end where this game ends. It just doesn't have the whole Marie part.
Yeah, I think you do Christmas Eve and then it skips forward to your last day.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
What I recall about Christmas Eve is that you're sort of at school and you get chocolate from like Yukiko and Chie, like platonic chocolate.
No,
And-
that's a Valentine's Day scene when they trade the chocolate.
is it?
Yes, for sure.
Okay.
I got chocolates
Well.
from Marie, and it was
So,
smoothing. But we'll talk about that later.
I'm sorry. Is Izunami in the original Persona or Izunagi, whichever one it is?
Yes.
Is that secret? So that was not
Yes.
added for Golden. That was in the original.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, because you can fit. That whole stuff was definitely in the original. Because I had seen the scene with the attendant before, and I forgot about it. But,
Okay. That is good to know. Thank you, John and Vanessa.
Thank you.
Thank
So,
you.
You're welcome.
So you watches the Midnight Channel December 26th. Nothing comes on. So he's like, oh, guess everything's cool. We saved the day. The fog's gone. We found the bad guy. Nothing else is going to happen. We fought an eyeball.
Wait, did we hear what happens on the date on Christmas?
I don't remember clearly. I thought it was. I don't know what happens.
You can go on a
sleep
date.
with Naoto.
Yeah, like Rise can come over, or Kanji and Yosuke can come over, or Chie can come over. There's a whole bunch of different dates. So I didn't do any of these.
I remember
I had a
having
couple
Rize
of
over.
times.
I wonder if this must have been when it was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
'Cause I was in an
Naoto
intimate.
came over. Naoto was like sitting next to me on the couch, and Naoto's like, "You can't sit so close to me," and blush, 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 blush. And then it's like, black screen. You spent some time with Hat Boy.
I like Naoto a lot, particularly in something that we'll talk about later on in the episode. I'm really kind of into Naoto right now. I think Naoto's a great character. I'm really glad I did not romance Naoto. I would not like this. I like tough Naoto.
Oh. And Jim did message us and say that he got things wet.
Yeah, it's implied that I did stuff with Chie.
Yeah, I don't. Is there not a New Year's date? I feel so confused. All right, I don't want to rehash this. Let's just move on.
Yeah. There is also a New Year's date. So nothing came on the 26th. For New Year's Eve, you get to the shrine. Kanji shows up late. You're the first one to get there. Then Teddy and Yosuke, and it was Teddy's fault because Teddy put expensive stuff in the lucky draw bags at Juness, and they had to redo them. Teddy is very excited because he believes the women might be showing up in kimonos.
What is with this game and like people wearing yukatas and kimonos and stuff? I never realized how erotic they were supposed to be.
Well, there's one thing with the bear community. They eroticize kilts in a way that I do not. I have no interest in the kilt, and they're like, there's nothing under them. Ugh. Gross.
I don't know. I mean, I kind of get it that these girls. I mean, they're silk kimonos. Silk is very thin and sheer. Like, I kind of get that, like, and these are teenage boys, so of course they're just fucking horny for these girls to be walking around in something revealing.
But they come in their, like, snow suits.
Yeah.
And, like, just regular winter gear. And then you get a lovely little, there's a lot of anime cutscenes in this chunker. Lovely little Happy New Year one where they're all counting down and it starts snowing. And it's magical.
There's fireworks, right?
Yeah, sure. I don't know about the fireworks. But the next day, it's New Year's, and you're spending it with Nanako and Dojima, and there's lots of snow outside. It looks beautiful. Dojima says that you have a man's face now.
Uh-huh.
You're growing older.
yeah. He's like, "Hey, you have a man's face now. It's me, your hot, sexy uncle, grizzled detective, the widower. Living here all alone, not even my friend Adachi anymore with me, so I'm just looking for some comfort in this hard time, and, you know, it's technically, well, I mean, I guess I am your uncle, but...
Okay, moving on. You can go on a New Year's date with any of the
Dojima?
girls. No. You can go on with any of your friends that you romance, or... you don't. And then the next day, Nanako, Dojima, and you decide to make a snowman, and Nanako has the idea of making a wonderful and a really good Teddy. She makes a perfect Teddy snowman.
I don't really even
Yeah.
remember it giving me a lot of choices at this point. I think it just, because at this point I was only in an intimate relationship with Rize, I feel like it just kind of shoved me along with Rize for all of this.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't have a problem with. It was fine.
There's a new song while you're exploring the town. It's a snowflake song, like snowflakes falling from the sky. You know that song, right?
It's great.
That's the theme from E.T.
Yeah.
Bwah, 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 bwah,
Yeah.
bwah, bwah, bwah.
Bwah, 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 bwah,
And then
bwah,
to
bwah,
celebrate
bwah.
New Year's,
I turned it into Star Wars.
you talk to every single one of your social links, and wish them a Happy New Year's. Even the fox and even Margaret.
Yeah. You're like, Happy New Year's, Fox. And the fox is like, I'm a dog.
Happy New Year's, lady with the dead husband. Happy New Year's, nurse. Even though you're not there anymore. When you go wish Margaret Happy New Year's, she lets you know that Marie has left the room, and the Velvet Room, and she's like, okay, she's gone, like gone. She isn't coming back gone, and I don't know why. Now, this could be dangerous, but if you want, I can find her, but it might take like 3 to 6 weeks for delivery. And it could be dangerous. So think about it. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to find my friend Marie. She's cool. We can go to Hot Topic together. You know, get some No Fear bags or some Naruto headbands.
Some spiky bracelets, maybe.
Yep.
Some hats. Some fun hats.
Yosuke and Teddy come over, and Yosuke suggests you all go skiing, which sounds wonderful. Meanwhile, Dojima and Nanako are going to go back to the hospital for a few weeks. So Yu's going to be alone for a bit because Nanako's not quite fully recovered.
I love this empty house. It's very nice. Felt freedom. Just nobody telling me what to fucking do. Dojima isn't as bad as the cat in Persona 5, but he definitely, at the first half of this game, does a lot of being like, hey, you can't go out. You can't do that. Go to bed.
I'm your dad, uncle. Go to bed.
I'm your dunkle.
He does kind of suspect you of murder, though.
Yeah, a little bit. Not anymore.
He needs to get a fucking clip.
Teddy is like, hey, you know what? Since you have the house alone, how about I stay here with you?
And he becomes basically your wife. It's great.
Because you don't feel very well right after that and almost faint on the stairs.
But Teddy takes such good care of you.
He slides you under the kotatsu. He gives you soup, tapes your temperature.
You seem to have a fever, and I don't think you're supposed to stick somebody in a warmer when they have a fever.
Look, Teddy doesn't know what he's doing, but he really cares. I think he sleeps next to you on the floor.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
He's just like, oh.
So he keeps you nice and toasty as you're burning up from your fever.
And your friends all come over, even though you have obviously some kind of infectious disease. And they're all helping take care of you. Naoto goes and gets you some medicine. Marie shows up in a dream. She's like, hey, sorry I had to go, but I have to leave. And the fog is over in Inaba, so everything's good. And me going is for the best, basically. So, bye!
Don't try to follow me. Please respect my wishes. Don't try to find me.
Yeah, you're not gonna respect her.
Spoiler, you don't respect her wishes.
You wakes up feeling better with Teddy passed out next to him and gets a phone call from Margaret. Margaret's like, hey, what's up? I know that you're looking for Marie, and I said I was going to find her, but she's a little harder to find than I thought, so I'll call you back later. And
yeah, cool. Thanks for the phone call. Whatever.
Yosuke has delayed the ski trip a little until Yu feels better. Teddy and you decide to dig up bugs in the garden. You do a whole lot of social linking during these couple of weeks. If you need to catch up, I did all of Rise's, which really helps with that last battle's pretty hard, and with Rise's constant help, it makes it a lot easier. And Margaret calls back and says, the reason Marie's so hard to find is that since she left of her own extreme volition, it's very hard to counteract that.
Yeah, once again, she does not want to be found.
Yeah. I think there's an exam at some point around now. And Teddy greets you at the door and wants to give you a big kiss.
This is my favorite part of the game.
Well, there's two parts to it. The first is you can choose to try to kiss him back, and he chickens out. He's like, no, my pheromones are too much for you.
He's like, I was just joking. How dare you?
He says he was just practicing for Nanako.
Ew.
And And then Teddy's like,
Teddy.
I read in one of Chie's books about a thing called glomping. I want to try that. Can you show me what glomping is? And I had to Google this because glomping is not something I'd ever heard of, and it's more of
Really?
a like Gen Z millennial thing.
Oh, I knew about glomping. That's like a girl thing.
Oh, so tell me about glomping.
Glomping is when you like hug someone, but it's sort of an attack hug, and then you're stuck on them. You know,
Apparently, anime.
it's like someone is standing to the side, and then you just run in, and you're just like glomp. Like I'm a big glomp on you now, and I won't let you go. Glomp.
Apparently, anime conventions had to ban glomping because too many people got hurt.
Yeah, it's like it's a violent, fast hug that then sticks.
So you start to show him what glomping is, and like that sexy saxophone music starts to play, and you're like about to get real close to Teddy. And then Dojima's like, "What are you two doing?"
Yeah, he comes in, he's like, "What the hell is this?"
You were about to get Teddy, you smooch scene, and the game just chickens out.
And you know Teddy would have gone for it because he made out with Kanji in that club.
Yep. When he thought he was drunk.
Teddy is pansexual. I truly believe that.
I agree. He is a problematic queer icon.
I mean, his final persona, if we talk about that, when you unlock the third iteration, it's like a bear with a big rocket coming right out of its butt.
I thought the rocket was out of his face.
Now that's his second persona. The third persona, yeah, it's just butt rocket.
But rocket, check it and see. So Nanako is all better. Dojima brought her home and brought some premium sushi. And he says Teddy can stay since he's basically family. But the problem with that is Teddy eats all the sushi.
What a terrible Teddy.
Julio and I bought $80 worth of sushi on Monday and ate it all with our friend Trevor. It was good. I like sushi a lot, Vanessa.
I like sushi too. I like salmon the best. I also like yellowtail. I like octopus occasionally, but not too much of it.
They're too smart. I'm not going to eat anything that smart.
Yeah, it's like a cat.
Yeah.
A cat level intelligence with an octopus.
Yeah.
And I like what we're talking about, sushis that we liked. Oh, I just like it all, honestly. But tuna is probably my least favorite.
Oh, I like a good tuna cone. Oh, yeah. Like those
Tuna
cones.
cone.
Like an ice cream cone, but with tuna in
Well,
it?
it's like it's not a roll, it's a cone. And you sort of eat it like an ice cream cone, yeah.
Like a waffle cone?
No,
With
the
stuff
cone,
inside of it?
the cone is seaweed. So it's made of that seaweed paper. It's really good. So yeah, Teddy eats all the food, and then Nanako's like, "Oh yeah, they're punishing me for being sick, so I've got all this punishment homework to do. Can you help me with that?" And you spend most of the week like helping her finish up her homework.
Yeah, I did this even though it really probably kind of fucked me in a couple of social links that I didn't quite finish up.
I didn't max out any. I don't think I maxed out anyone but Yosuke, like their social links, any of the team. I got to like level 8 or 9 with Rise, and I probably could have, but I was helping Nanako with her homework. Next up, ski trip. Yay!
Ski trip!
I'm so tripped out at this point in the game. I don't give a shit where these kids go.
No.
Yeah.
Like nothing's happening either. Like a lot of this stuff, I have to admit, a lot of this stuff I was like working and literally had my Vita propped up and just kind of going while I was for like an hour or two while I was like doing my job, because it's just, I mean, how can you just sit there and watch it?
A lot of these, we'll talk about them in our. Oh yeah, we should talk about what our bonus episode's going to be this month.
Well, we'll talk about that when we get.
Okay,
when we
at
get,
the end. Yeah.
because that happens at the end.
Kanji gets nosebleeds because he's too close to Naoto, who's teaching how to ski. Teddy sparkles, does a beautiful stunt, and then cannonballs into Yosuke. Naoto is having a very hard time skiing. She's not used to it. She doesn't like it. Yosuke wants to. They all go back to the lodge, and Yosuke's like, "Well, since this is a co-ed lodge, you know what I'm thinking." And Yukio's like, "No." He says, "I didn't even say what I wanted to do." She's like, "Well, is it play board games or tell scary stories?" He's like, "No." So they decide to tell ghost stories.
Bum, bum, bum.
Any memorable stories, Vanessa?
I just told a story about the Velvet Room.
Oh yeah, me too.
Is it gives you options of what story to tell, and you can be like, yeah, I went to this room. There was this man with a long nose, and
I
they
did
all
that
just
one
got
too.
very confused. They're like, "This isn't scary. What are you talking about? Like, what is this?" I like how you apparently have just never told your friends about this.
Yeah, that comes up later when they meet like Margaret too.
I noticed that, you know what they never also question is that you can change your persona, and you constantly are, but they all have the same one. Like, you think that they would notice. Like, I have my persona, but you have 100.
That's true, and that's easily explained by being like, "Hey, I met this guy who invited me into his limo. He told me I'm a wild card, and now I can do magic."
Wild card! Woo!
That is what they say, right? That he has the power of the wild card, and
Yeah.
that's why he can do personas.
Yeah, because he's empty, like a zero. I did send you guys a picture of Teddy's final persona.
I really like
He
it.
has a rainbow bomb face, and then another bomb that is going into his butt.
Oh,
and
I didn't notice the second half. I only noticed the
Yeah.
rainbow bomb face.
he has bear claws and a little crown and a beautiful cape.
I think his.
I mean,
Super cool.
it's
look.
pretty blatant, like what's going on there.
I think his personas get worse with each iteration. Like the first one was my favorite, and each step is just awfuler.
I thought some of them looked better. I liked Yukiko's final. It's like this gold
Ooh, that one does look cool.
angel. And who's the other final one that I got that I liked?
Yosuke's looks cool too.
Yeah, I didn't manage to get Naoto or Kanji's finals, which was a real bummer. I maxed them out. I got their first transformations. And Naoto's was kind of just the same thing, but bigger and like sleeker looking. I didn't like Kanji's as much. I really liked Kanji's like skeleton man.
His
Frankenstein
Skullomania.
skeleton. Yeah. Anyway. And Rize's gets like a telescope. The radar on Rize's persona's head gets replaced with a telescope.
Ooh.
Cool.
Rize was a fucking huge help, and I want to suggest maxing her out to anybody that ever plays this game again, because she's amazing. She was like healing my party every time something happened to them, and like constantly giving us SP and HP and clearing status effects and blocking attacks, and it was amazing.
Yeah, I wish I'd realized how much of a battle help she was, because I got close to the end, and I got most of her benefits, but not all of them. So, when suddenly you're telling this spooky story about the Velvet Room and the lights turn off, and you hear this strange sound, and someone finds the lights and sees Teddy in there eating all the snacks. They attack Teddy, and Naoto says the best line, "I'm sorry, Teddy. Only people have human rights."
Naruto's the best.
So you go on the next day, a special ski trip with whomever you choose. Who do you choose, Matt?
Rize.
Jim?
Chie.
Vanessa?
Naoto.
I also chose Naoto because, this is a good person to have in a pinch.
Yeah,
Hey.
Naoto's the most competent of any of these children.
Yep. So you get lost when it starts to like blizzard out, and you are like wandering for a couple of hours until you eventually find this abandoned cabin. You get inside and decide to build a fire and have to like snuggle up close for warmth. But then you hear a TV, and you find that there's a TV hidden in the back. And so there's this. This happens no matter who you go on the ski trip with. When you're in the back, you like every person says different sexual innuendo as you try to get the TV out. Like, no, don't go too fast. You're going too hard. This is too deep. Things like that.
Be careful. You're going to do that here?
Exactly. And you get interrupted, and everyone thinks you two are about to have sex, you and whoever. And then you...
Which I think it's really weird in this game. No one acknowledges that Naoto and I are dating. I don't know if we're keeping it a secret from them, but they're just like, what are you two doing here together?
Yeah, no, they
and, like,
do the
this
same
whole
thing
ski
with...
trip, like, Rize is still after me all the time.
Yeah, well, they still do
Like-
the same thing with Rize, where, like, nobody believes... I don't know, it's weird. Because we're clearly, like, together. But
There was one mention of me and Chie, and it happened, I think, around Valentine's Day. She gave me some chocolate and then ran out of the classroom because she was embarrassed. And then Yosuke's like, "Oh, she must really like you."
It's like, yeah, she's my girlfriend.
So you find this TV and have some questions about it. And I believe this is where... Does Margaret interrupt? Oh, no, you... There's something going on, and you all get kind of sucked into the TV, right?
Yeah, it like sucks you up like a vacuum.
Yeah, and then inside is this those really cool wooden like Shinto idols that are like these like
Wait, you don't get sucked into the TV like a vacuum. Margaret grabs your arm and pulls you in, doesn't
okay.
she?
Oh, yeah.
I thought Margaret reached out and
I couldn't
Yeah,
remember.
because then she's there and Yosuke is like, do you
Who's this
know her?
beautiful
She's super
woman?"
hot. Wow.
And I'm like, yeah, we totally date. Yeah, so I love this location. It's like this beautiful bamboo forest. It's really interesting. Margaret is there, and Margaret and you explain, oh yeah, Marie actually is like from the other side, and she had amnesia. She didn't know who she was, and so I was like showing her what the world was like. And Margaret's the same way.
Yeah, and your friends are like, what is wrong with you? We've been fighting together for almost a year. Why are you keeping secrets about these weird people, you know? Like, did we think you wouldn't believe you? Of course we would believe you. We go into a television
Yeah.
together. No, they don't actually, because nobody ever calls you out on his bullshit.
They just love you so much.
They're just like, oh, wow, you're perfect. You're so cool.
So there are shadows here in the Hollow Forest, and it is dangerous. And Margaret's like, hey, if you want to keep going forward here, it's up to you. And the reason that she brought everyone here is that everyone could make the choice themselves as to whether or not they want to continue and try to rescue Marie. And she says something interesting here. The human mind contains more than shadows. And what was inside Adachi-san was different than a shadow, and what was inside Namatame. We didn't notice it last time, but when Namatame turned into that weird like savior thing, that was actually like a god that he was channeling.
Okay.
Because this comes back later, because that god's important. Both the eyeball god and the Namatame god. So once the forest it's still in progress of being built. Once it completes itself,
because I played this and I don't remember any of that being important.
yeah, because Marie was divided into 3 chunks. One of them was the thing inside Namatame. One was the thing inside Adachi and her. They all had like different roles in capturing the world, basically, or like just the fog. And destroying Inaba and eventually the world. So once the Hollow Forest completes itself, we will forget about Marie entirely, and Marie will be erased from existence. And that's what Marie wants. And Noto's like, wow, this is incredible. And we obviously have a very limited amount of time to do this. So we really need to go home, get a good night's sleep, and think about stuff.
As they always do in these situations.
Yeah.
Well, we're not prepared. I guess maybe they like didn't bring their weapons or something.
I guess that makes sense.
Maybe that's why they all have crappy weapons, actually. You can only get the weapons that are in the dungeon.
Well, Marie sucks.
You lose all your
Yeah, she
items,
steals
too.
all your items and weapons and anyway. So you do have a meeting.
Oh,
They
yeah.
talk about how Marie Chan does want to kill herself and that Marie thinks she shouldn't exist. So they devote a day to planning the attack. They meet up again on the rooftop and everyone did research when they should have been sleeping. There are no other missing people, so it's just Marie in there. There's no rumors about anyone or anything. And Naoto's like, oh yeah, Ameno Sagiri mentioned this hollow forest. Ameno said it birthed those who want to create the fabrications that lure humans, like this falseness. So, like, basically, falsehoods are born in the hollow forest.
Okay, this is too much for me. I'm stepping away for a minute. I'll be back.
Okay.
Snack time.
But this is the only day that you can do the hollow woods. And so they're like, well, we got to go. Let's do it. We're going to go into the hollow woods. So everyone jumps in and it's snowing petals, flower petals. And you do the dungeon. And every level of the dungeon is a different Marie poem, as if to say, don't do this. Really discouraging you from playing the game with these.
Yeah,
Marie
it's really
poems.
like beautiful though and like haunting, and it's weird. The trick of this dungeon is that all of your items and weapons are gone, and all you have is like trash and trash like weapons, and that also every time you do a battle, it takes away half of your SP, I think.
Yeah.
Or something.
And there's
really
all these
confusing.
items you can find that will give you like 10 to or 8 to 20 SP per turn. So you want to equip that on people so they can keep doing magic.
So you're always kind of riding the very bottom of your SP and just gaining a little bit back per turn. How did we all handle this? I'll just jump in and say I had an easy time with it, with Invigorate on multiple characters.
Yep. Yep.
And strong physical skills and those little items like, and what's the other thing? Spellmaster that like halves the cost of magic.
It wasn't bad at first where I could just use like Hama or Mudo skills and destroy everything, but I found that there was annoying mixes of fights where one thing was weak to something, but then the other half would get healed if you used it. So those were just, it just took a long time to get through for me. This took me a couple hours.
Yeah, I breezed through it. What about you, Jim?
The first time I played this dungeon, I didn't pay any attention at all to the accessories that you get that allow your SP to regain. And I was just pissed off the whole time. I was like, I have no SP. I can't do anything. I don't care what their weaknesses are.
That's amazing.
And then I got party wiped at the end, and then I went back. Oh no, I finished it, and then I got like a lot further, and then my Vita died. And my last save game was before the Hollow Forest, so I did redo it.
Wow.
And so I went to redo it, and I paid more attention to those cool rings you get, and it was a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
So you get to eventually you start going, and about halfway through, you run into Marie, and she is dressed like a white mage from Final Fantasy 1.
Yeah.
And one of her eyes is an Ameno Sagiri eye, like it's all crazy.
It's Lolo, right?
Mm-hmm. What?
Oh, no, yeah. No, you're right. She's all crazy, like discombobulated.
Yeah, she got that one weird eye.
Like
She's
body horror stuff. It's
she's
gross.
regained her memories. She's like, yeah, actually, my name is Kasumi no Okami. And you remember, like, those things inside Namatame and Adachi? That's Kuni no Sagiri and Emino Sagiri, and they're the same as she is. She is one of these, like, god things, and she's one of the team that covered the town in fog. Her role in it was to find out what the will of the people was. So she was, like, saying, well, are humans good or bad? They just want falsehoods and we'll give them falsehoods. So that's why she was unknowingly spying on people. And she says, hey, if I don't kill myself, fog is going to return to Inaba.
Yeah, she says that all the fog when you killed Amino Sagiri went into her, right?
Yeah. Yeah, the Skiri created the fog and Marie absorbed it. As she did, she heard some weird voice, but that's probably not important. Marie says, hey, you know what? It's okay. It's fine for me to die. We made some fun, happy memories together. And that's what's important. And then Marie's voice suddenly starts changing. It's someone else, and her mind is being overpowered. Naoto says, hey, you say you want to die. This was when you get to the top. You say you want to die, but I don't believe you because, like, all throughout this dungeon was bits of forest, but there's also bits of, like, the town they were in, all like, parts of the town, desks and stop signs and Juness. I feel like that you're attached to it. Your mind created this place, and your mind obviously has some attachment to Inaba. And then you're like, hey, yeah, there's got to be another way. You probably don't have to die, we assume. And Marie's like, well, if you don't kill me, I'm going to become a monster. And then you're like, well, how about we kill that monster? What's going to happen then, huh? And she's like, oh, maybe that'll work. That might free me. Okay, I'll let myself become a monster. So she does transform. She does do a transform and becomes Kasumi no Okami that looks like Lady Spawn.
Lady Spawn.
Yeah. Big red cape, black and white suit. It's totally a Lady Spawn. And
I didn't put that together.
and then it's a big boss fight. I didn't find this fight very hard at all because I had all the accessories. So I was like loading up on the SP every turn. What about you, Jim?
No, it wasn't a tough battle. Once I think I had Naoto with that ability that let him regen some SP.
Yep. Yep.
And so that made the fight a lot easier. And plus, he has like the best spells in the game.
Yes.
Right.
The only
and
what does
so,
it
like-
not have? He doesn't have lightning, and other than that, he has every
Right,
element
yeah.
and mega
Light, dark, and nuclear.
and almighty and a physical attack. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. He's
And
really
invigorate.
good.
It's crazy
Yep.
how many
Yeah.
spells he has.
So you defeat Kasumi no Okami, and everyone's like, oh, I guess Marie
Lady
is
Spawn?
dead. Yeah, Lady Spawn, sorry. You think Marie is dead, but Marie wakes up because Teddy is like embracing her and saying how sorry she is, and she got a big face full of teddy fur.
Is this what happened to Nanako too?
I think that he's bringing people back to life and doesn't realize it.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes more sense than them just spontaneously coming back to life.
Yeah. I think he's very special. He's a very special boy.
He is a very special boy. He grew a whole human body just by force of will.
And you go, yeah, I think you might be right here. You go to like talk to Marie, and she like wraps her body around your legs, and Rise's like, what are you doing? And I'm not even dating Rise. But Rise's like, get your hands off my man. And even though you just died and came back to life, I'm not even letting you hug someone because I have jealousy issues.
Yeah. Rise, I mean, the game really treats her like the canonical girlfriend.
Right.
Interesting.
Otherwise,
Who
it's
wouldn't
just
want
weird.
to date an idol?
That's right.
I did.
No, thank you.
I think she kind of stone cold dumps you at the end. Did Chie and Naoto
dumps
dump you
you?
guys? Or did they like you move away? We'll talk about it at the end.
Yeah. So everything starts collapsing. So you got to run out of that palace, and then they do end up in a big pile outside the TV because it's a very small TV. But everyone's okay. The TV explodes, which is very dangerous. And Marie thanks you and apologizes for everything. But she does say that people tell her, hey, Valentine's coming up. And she's like, well, I'm going to do that with you. And Marie says like, no, you're not. I'm going with you. And Marie's like, nope, no cheating. Your reservation is canceled. I'm going to spend Valentine's with you. And
Yeah, and I was just like, I am dating Naoto. How many times do I have to say this? Hat boy with the hat? That's my boy with the hat.
It's just so
Hashtag
misogynistic.
that's my boy. Adam Sandler.
It's just so misogynistic that, you know, the game has to have her reward you with sex for saving her.
well, that doesn't happen in my.
I'm pretty sure that's what happens.
But I do like that. I forgot to mention when you're talking about Marie, Chie does call her the girl with the hat, and I thought that was funny.
Ooh.
You know, the hat girl with the hat.
Hat girl with the hat.
Uh,
Or is it hat god with the hat?
yeah.
Y'all remember the Bruce Timm animated Batman series had an episode where Clayface makes like a little girl out of clay to be a pickpocket, and then she forgets that she's actually part of Clayface and befriends Robin. And then in the end, he sucks her back up again. It's very sad. This reminded me of that very much.
Oh, weird.
Huh.
So Marie talks about the voice she heard that was saying humans don't want the truth, and she's like, I don't know who that was. Was it someone else? Maybe it was my voice. I don't know. Sorry for bringing that up. I know it's a weird. I'm just being stupid. Don't mind me. I'm just stupid.
Yeah, it's probably fine. This was the last real boss fight of the game. And now we can just coast to that end game.
Yeah. But when you get outside the cabin, suddenly everyone's like, snowball fight. And by snowball fight, they mean everyone versus Yosuke.
As it should
That's
be.
pretty funny.
Yeah. They just start pelting him with snowballs, and he's like, whoa, what? Why? Ugh.
Cut to a very necessary scene. It's the sauna. Marie is bathing and sparkling in it, and all the girls, as women do, comment about how beautiful her body and skin is.
Just like they did with Hat Boy.
Yep. And then the wall that the boys are trying to crawl over collapse, and all the boys fall into the girls' pool. And Marie does not like this and decides to summon lightning to electrocute them all.
Yeah. She ramps it up from throwing baskets.
Yep. And when you get home, Dojima's like, why do you smell like burnt hair?
You're just like,
Yu escorts Marie back to the Velvet Room, and Nanako like starts putting in some like, "Oh, do you like chocolate? Do you like sweets?
Hey, big bro, you like sweets?
Finally, it is Valentine's at school.
Yeah.
Actually, why don't you tell us about Valentine's at school and at home?
One thing I really liked about Valentine's at school is that Kanji shows up and he's like, these girls keep asking me if Naoto likes sweets, and I don't know why. And they're like, it's for Valentine's Day. And he's like, but they're girls. It's like, get a clue, Kanji. Everyone's in love with Naoto.
Yeah, I don't think he appreciates how into Naoto the girls are in this school.
You would think that, like, he basically being in the same situation would be more understanding, but no. So you're in the classroom. Chie and Yukiko bring gift bags for the boys. As does Rize, I think. But Rize is way more, like, open about it. She's like, here's your special Valentine's Day chocolate, senpai.
And Yosuke's like a clueless dick about it, as always. He's like, these are just from the store. These aren't like special. Screw you, buddy.
Yeah, they do seem to talk about making chocolate, which I guess is a thing girls do in Japan. They make chocolate to give to boys.
That's
Could be.
interesting.
But
How do you even make chocolate?
I think
though?
you-
It's
Maybe
just
it's
like,
maybe it's
melting down
fudge.
chocolate and
Yeah.
recasting it.
Yeah, you take like raw chocolate and mix
make
it
it
with
into
milk and
raw
sugar and
chocolate.
shit.
I would be much
Okay.
more comfortable with the store bought when it comes to those women
Yeah, they are not good cooks.
or the men. Everyone's a bad cook in this
Yep.
game.
Marie brings you some Valentine's chocolate.
I
That
love
is, like,
this.
Scary.
It's like moving.
Yep.
Yeah. and seems to be alive.
I feel like
But-
whichever girl you romanced also, if you have romanced a girl, will bring you a chocolate.
Yeah, Naoto brings me chocolate, and she's just like, hey. Oh, and I think she like brings it in like a plain, like paper wrapping.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, it's very you, and that's a good thing. And he's like, sweet. Let's kiss, bro.
Yes, Marie does bring you a live chocolate that does taste pretty good, but there's one more chocolate gift that doesn't go that well.
Well, I guess that depends on your point of view.
Okay.
Yeah, your very special little sister worked really hard to make you sort of like a molten volcano
It looks
cake,
like a
let's say.
like one of the slimes, like the slime's persona.
Yeah,
does.
it looks like a slime.
Yeah, she shaped it like one of your personas, and she said that Chie and Yukiko helped her, and it kills you.
Yeah, she talks about how this one said you needed like lots of salt, and this one said you needed lots of like pepper, and this one said you needed lots of
Rise
like
said it should be
vinegar.
spicy.
I
And then
don't
she
wanna
threw
make it
some
too
leftovers
sweet.
in there, I think, as well.
Yeah.
Some like several day old
There's
leftovers.
fish. Yeah.
Yeah, fish. That's what it was. She threw some old fish in the chocolate.
To make it sophisticated.
Yes.
Get out of here. And it murders
Yeah.
you.
Yep.
Yeah, you takes a bite, and then just like little skulls come out of the top of his head, and he collapses.
Anyway, we don't have to argue about it, but I definitely did feel like when Marie gives you the living chocolate, I think that the game did imply, like, there's a lot of blushing there, and then it kind of fades to black and is like, you spent some ... time with Marie.
Oh.
Right? That was my take on it. That's not necessarily what happened. Who knows?
Who knows? Were things wet? We'll never know.
I mean,
What?
my version of you has a girlfriend, so I was a little uncomfortable with the imposition that I was just cheating on her. But, you know.
My version of you has a boyfriend, and he's fine having a girlfriend too.
Isn't his boyfriend in prison?
No, that's Adachi. I was talking about Hat Boy with the hat.
That's Vanessa's
right.
boyfriend.
That's my boyfriend.
Did we really dive into the implications of what a scumbag Adachi turned out to be and how rough that is?
Yep.
After
think
all
so.
of Vanessa's praise, to have him be such
Yeah.
a dirtbag?
He's like,
Such a red pill piece of shit.
Especially
Yeah,
since Vanessa
that's the
had
real problem.
finished the game before. A couple of
I had
times.
finished the game a couple times.
Oh boy. So you do wake up somehow the next day. I assume Teddy brought you back to life after being murdered by the death chocolate. And it's your last day. It's cut to March 20th. And on this day, you go around saying goodbye to all your social links.
Mhm.
Uh,
And then you're done saying goodbye, and the game ends. That's what happened to Jim.
oh, really? No, Jim did the last
It
one.
did. It did. So yeah. So remember when I said I had to go back and reload a save?
Yeah.
When I went back to the game that I played prior to reloading it before my Vita died, I didn't do this, and my game ended right here.
Oh.
And then my Vita
Yeah.
died, and I was like, oh no, I didn't get to see the ending. And then I had to reload, and then I was like, oh, there's a whole other thing to do.
Yes, there is.
Hmm. But you can just say goodbye to everyone and then end the game.
If you do try, some people are gone. Like if you try to say goodbye to the nurse, you don't actually say goodbye to the nurse, but you do hear them talk about the other nurses gossiping about her and say like how much she respected and loved you,
Mm-hmm.
which is very nice.
Yeah, you have so many friends.
Yeah. So you decide like the game's like, okay, well, it's time for you to go, and you can go to Judas. The game's like, well, there's nothing for you to do here, and you're like, well, I want to go anyways.
And then everyone shows up and they're like, hey, what's up? And you're like, why this happen?
Why I have
Why-
powers?
Why me powers? Why me powers? Oh, and at the start of the day, a letter comes from you, and Nanako gives it to you, and you just like shove it in your pocket.
Right.
And then you go to Junez, and you're like, wait a minute, me got letter. And you pull out the letter.
Use not very articulate.
Yeah. White powers, me letter. And it's from Adachi.
It's kind of the wildest thing to me in this, if you don't mind a little aside, in this and all of the Persona games, how the main character is just a, like, dialogueless, kind of personality-less void.
Yep. That's what he is.
But everybody,
so-
you know, it's just weird. They're all like, you're the fucking best! And I'm like, ugh. Maybe it's just
Maybe
me.
that's what people really want, though. It's like, if you don't have a personality, people will just project onto you whatever they want you to be.
That's a good point.
So your letter from Adachi, it's a little bit different, depending on whether or not you maxed out his social link. Essentially, it starts out saying, hey, you notice how, like, you have powers and I have powers and that other guy had powers and I don't know what it is. There's something super weird about it. And P.S., you're a jackass. Which I love that he just threw that in there. But then if you've maxed out the social link, it continues. You know, when I used to hang out with you and Dojima and Nanako, I thought it was really stupid and bad. But now that I'm in prison, I don't know. I guess just like, stay healthy, okay? I love you. Goodbye.
Weird. Weird.
You read Adachi's letter, and then you're like, man, Adachi's right. Why do we have these powers? What happened? How did I get these powers? And so you decide to, like, investigate how you got these powers. And
Which means talking to literally everyone.
Yeah.
right. You go to talk to Nanako and Dojima, and you're like, what happened the first day I came to town? Did we go straight home? I don't remember. And eventually they say, well, we went to the gas station. And you're like, I got sick after going to the gas station.
Mm-hmm.
And I touched the attendant.
The attendant did seem pretty weird.
Yeah. And you I like this because you chalk it up to, like, beginning of the game introducing the world nonsense.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the attendant just sort of, like, tells you, like, oh, welcome to Inaba. This is this town, blah, blah, blah. And then you're just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the screen does flash when they give you a handshake. So that was weird. So you go...
But it was also so long ago.
Yeah.
Like, so many hours. It's like, who thinks
The
about that
screen
attendant?
flash?
Yeah.
I didn't catch that.
Yeah.
at
I
all.
thought it was just
So-
because I was sick.
Yeah. You go to find the attendant. You can't find them. At this point, I did kind of realize, oh, yeah, the attendant has only shown up in the game when it's raining.
Oh.
It's like, when it rains, the attendant is outside the gas station, but otherwise they're never around.
Interesting.
And you start asking questions, and people don't really seem to know about the gas station attendant.
No. Yeah, people at the
They're
stores are like,
there is no attendant.
yeah. I don't know about the one you're describing. That seems kind of weird.
Yeah, never heard of them. Don't know what you're talking about.
You go talk to the people in the Velvet Room about it, and you say you're investigating something, and suddenly all these weird shards of glass appear, and Igor's like, well, that's a surprise, and then whips them together into this crystal orb of power. He's like,
This is an orb that dispels lies.
it's an orb of sight.
Ooh.
And Margaret's like, yeah, Marie was like born a long time ago, and she was born to protect the world of the desires. She was born to protect man, but men then like desired to be sheltered from the truth, and her other half became its own existence, and she was left behind when it split up into different people, and she was Kasumi no Okami with no memories, and the other one, the puppet master is the other chunk that left her. So you got to follow that and figure out what it is. But if you go back, you can talk to Margaret again, and she starts talking to you about like, why did Marie give up on her quest? Who is Marie? Are you gonna fight against Margaret? Do you want to fight against Margaret? And she will fight you at the end of heaven if you want to.
Oh.
Did anybody do the Margaret bus
I
fight?
did not.
I
I
did
didn't
not.
either. I think you can only do it on the second playthrough, right?
Probably.
I believe it's only on New Game Plus, and I was not playing a New Game Plus.
And it seems like a very hard boss fight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so then you go to the place where everything began, the gas station. And you ask
The gas.
the attendant's there, and you start asking the attendant a lot of questions, like, "Did you do something to me? Did you give me powers?" The attendant's like, "Ha ha ha ha. Yeah, let's drop this charade."
Yeah, it was me. And you can also ask other people around town if they gave you powers, and they're just like,
Yes,
"What's
that's
wrong
great.
with you?"
And the attendant's like, "Yes, I met you, and I met Adachi, and I guess I did also meet Namatame, and yes, I did give you special powers to go inside the TV."
hmm And then she like whips off her hat
Mm-hmm.
and reveals that she's this very tall, red-eyed teenage girl.
Mhm.
And she's like, "I'm the one who gave Marie the bamboo comb
Mm-hmm.
as a symbol of our separation." And you're like, "What?"
What?
And then she's like, "When you came to town, I gave you a special power push."
Mm-hmm. And
And you're like, "What are you talking about?" And she's like, "I wanted to see if you or Adachi or Namatame would come out on top."
mhm. And she gave a bunch of other people little pushes to like stimulate the town, really going into like foggy, truth-hating mode.
And I think that she also told everyone about the Midnight Channel.
Yes.
Because everyone's like, "We don't know where these rumors came from." And so she was just like filling up the car, be like, "Hey, you heard about the Midnight Channel?"
Yep.
Yeah.
And then it was like a game of psychic telephone where the Midnight Channel started getting all these other weird properties. So then she's like, "All right, I'm done. I don't like wearing this stupid suit. Let me just hold on 1 second. I'm going to start floating in and transform into a lady in a big white dress. My name is Inzanami. You might know me. I am literally the god of death." So
Yeah. You know that goddess everyone's been talking about? The whole like Orpheus underworld thing? That's me. Hiya. And she's like, "And also I have like chunks of myself. I made a Fog Eye chunk, and I made a Marie chunk, and I made all these other chunks."
And if you don't take care of Inzanami, if you don't defeat it, everyone you know will become shadows. So it's kind of important that you
Yeah.
deal with this boss.
She's like, "I was just going to let you roll out of town, and then eventually the fog would come back.
Mhm.
But instead, let's fight."
So you do have a meeting first. You go to Junes. Inzanami is a god, and Inzanagi, who was her husband, was Yu's first persona.
Mhm.
And then, like, this is if you ask questions about, like, in the discuss details thing before you go to the dungeon. You do learn from Yukiko that Inzanao is a verb meaning to invite. I'm like, okay, I don't know what that means.
Thank you for
More
sharing
information.
I just thought it was interesting. Yeah, no, it's just like, yeah, the Midnight Channel evolved like a game of telephone. That and everyone started adding these new details about it being like the person you love and all that, and that's how it grew until this force that would control how people and controlled by people, and that's where it came from.
Yeah, so it seems to work all like this, if you'll bear with me for a moment. Step 1, somebody appears on TV. Like, say, you see an interview on TV with Joe Biden. And then the next day on the Midnight Channel, you see like a vague little outline of Joe Biden because everyone saw Joe Biden on TV and they're thinking about Joe Biden. So Joe Biden then shows up on the Midnight Channel, which is their subconscious. Then Namatame sees Joe Biden on the TV, and he's like, "I'm going to put Joe Biden in the TV." So he goes and he gets Joe, and he Amtraks him right up into the TV, at which point the image becomes clear because then it's Joe Biden's shadow on the TV, not just the subconscious image of Joe Biden.
So, you can now at this point go inside Inzanami's.
And then
Oh.
Joe Biden stays in the TV where it's all foggy.
Yep.
until the foggy day in the real world, because when it's foggy in the real world, it's not foggy in the TV anymore, at which point all the shadows can see Joe Biden because he's no longer hidden by the fog, and the shadows will eat Joe Biden.
Oh, no.
Unless you get him out of there first.
Right.
Which somehow takes a month, basically. You know, or is it like 3 weeks?
It usually takes about a month. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now you can go into the temple, the final dungeon of the game. It's called Yomotso Hirasaka.
It's beautiful.
What does that mean? Does anybody know what that translates to?
No. Yomotsu Hirasaka. Wasn't there something about Yomotsu in the attack? Remember the big claw attack that the bad boss does at the end? I feel like that was called Yomotsu something. You will remember that you've been here before. The very first night you came to Inaba, you were in this dungeon before. And that's, I think, where you meet Adachi was the one that you fought against in the shadow? I'm not sure.
Unclear.
It seemed like Adachi, because it was a guy, right?
Yeah. But the level is very beautiful. It looks like that art installation, The Gates, that was in Central Park by who was it? Christo.
Or Christoph? Or what, Christo?
Yeah.
Banksy?
We get it, Vanessa.
it
You
wasn't
spend time in
Banksy.
New York.
I didn't say I've spent time in New York. Maybe I've never been there.
You definitely have, though.
Okay.
There's some very beautiful piano music in this section.
It is. It's lovely.
And of course, every level you get the boss saying, like, over and over, the game's like, this is what humanity wants. Humans don't want the truth. They want their comfortable lives. Why are you fighting against what people want? It's like over and the game really hammers this point. So you go through the dungeon. There's no special tricks or anything for this one. You get to the top. And this is the very real final boss of the game.
The actual final
Mm-hmm.
boss fight.
Yeah.
of the
Google
game.
says that Yomotsu Hirasaga means straight slope to Yomi.
Oh.
Oh, well, okay, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
So at the start of the
Yomi being the land of the dead, of course.
Oh. Oh. Okay.
Okay. So Inzanami's like, hey, this whole thing is because of people's curiosity. That's why the Midnight Channel started, because people were curious about these people on TV, and this like deadly curiosity created the foggy doom over Inaba. But the investigation team is different from people who don't care about the truth. The investigation team only cares about the truth, and everyone's like, yeah. And there's a great anime cutscene where everyone's like nodding when Inzanami turns into like this big white dress, white robed, leather ribboned, floating bad god lady.
She appears to be like in a straitjacket.
Yeah, it's a weird dress with like, it looks like an AIDS awareness ribbon tied around her. I don't know what that was all about. I feel like it
I
has
kind of see what you mean.
I think that has a different meaning in Japan, like as a Shinto thing. So you defeat this god pretty easily, but then it stops taking damage. The god's like, yeah, I don't really care what moves you use against me, even though you like got rid of my HP. I'm just not going to take any damage anymore. And then use like, hey,
Yeah, she's like, did you miss the part where I'm a god? Like,
but use like, wait a minute, I got this orb that Igor gave me. Let's see what it does. And it turns her into the true Inzanami, which is a zombie lady.
that's
Yeah,
right.
Pretty cool looking. Matthew just posted a picture of it in the group chat. It looks pretty rad.
It's got the dress still, but now the dress like the person that was in the dress is not, and is like a zombie, and it's riding.
It almost looks like. Oh, sorry, Matt. I didn't mean to interrupt
It's
you.
like riding like a multi-armed giant skeleton. It's fucking real gross and weird.
This is just what happened in the myth.
John will understand this reference. It looks like the one reborn from Bloodborne.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it totally does. That thing is real gross.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like, her husband went to the underworld to get her.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were like, don't look, don't see the truth. And now you see the truth.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not her fault that she died and became a zombie. I feel sorry for her.
No, yeah, it's not her fault at all. And then you fight this zombie thing. And this is a tricky boss fight. If you are having problems with it, I played on normal. So I haven't played on hard. But my pro tip is Kanji has a spell that reduces the accuracy, and it works on this boss, and then makes this boss like have a really hard time hitting you, and that's the way to go.
Reduces their evasion and their accuracy, which is awesome. So you hit them more, and they hit you less.
Yeah.
She does a.
Maybe it's I who won't take any damage.
She does a like midway through the fight, she does like 2 special attacks that are kind of meant to be like the big to wipe you out if you're not like real careful, and she missed. It's 2 big attacks in a row, and she missed everyone with both attacks, and I thought it was the funniest fucking thing that could have happened.
Yep. I do like that this game lets you use these kind of abilities on bosses. I think that it makes it more combat more interesting.
Yeah, because most Final Fantasy games nerf whatever your powers are, so that they're just immune.
You just have to stand there and bash the bosses. They're already.
Yeah, you can't blind them, you can't buff them, you can't.
I think
debuff
that's
them.
one of the good things that 9 and 12 do mechanically is both of them let you use these things on bosses. And I think that makes the game more interesting. Gives you
Anyway, what John was trying to say when he gave his little pro gamer chip is that it took John like 3 or 4 tries to beat this boss.
It took me 2 tries to beat this boss.
Matthew managed to walk through the end of this game somehow. I don't know what I did. I was like 80 only like level like 86 or 7 at the end, but
I was 93.
maybe it's because I maxed out Rize partially because she'd helped a lot.
Yeah.
But boy, this was all just a fucking cakewalk for me.
I also went back to, if you need to do grinding, if you go to Naoto's layer between 5 and 6, there's lots of hands in both the end of 5 and the beginning of floor 6, and then you can farm those. And they'll die in 2 hits of Almighty, so it's really, really fast to level up there.
Particularly when you've got Naoto, I'm sure when you've got Naoto, well, at least for me, I seemed to have the highest agility and was always the first to attack. So you could boom, boom with Naoto and you. Anyway, what happens when you finally defeat Izanami?
You get rid of the health bar, but then Izanami's like, now I've got my real attacks, and does this like creepy death hands on you. And it's very dramatic because
it's just fucking Mudo.
Yeah, but she tries it on you, and then your friends jump in front of you one by one, and all get killed.
Mm-hmm. They're like, not him. No, anyone but him.
Yeah.
And then you get killed after they're all dead, and goes to I guess the afterlife, and every one of your maxed social links shows up and gives you words of support. It's like a Earthbound ending. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And everyone,
it's a very traditional kind of Persona thing as well.
Yeah.
In this series,
everyone talks about like how you've helped them and how they want to be there for you now.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone,
it's like, it's me, inappropriate sexual harassment nurse. You're my best friend. Please get up.
Yep. It's me, old lady whose husband died. I'm here too for some reason.
Big bro, are you gonna get up?
Oh.
It's me, the fox. Remember me?
Hey, it's me, Adachi. Women are bitches.
And is Teddy the last one again?
Yeah, Teddy's the last one.
I think we're onto something. Teddy got special powers, bring people back to life.
That's right.
Teddy brings you back. And then you're like, oh, in the best piece of animation, I'm using this for the episode art for this episode. You takes his glasses, throws them off like he's dropping a mic, takes a card. It's Izanami, but Izanami's been like powered up to Mega. Oh, Izanagi, sorry. To Mega Izanagi, and is like, I got one attack here. It's Myriad Truth. You aren't doing you can't kill me. So I'm going to use this on you. And she's like, how do you have as much power as me?
Mm-hmm. And you're like, because now I'm your husband, kind of.
And,
From the myth, who trapped you in the other world.
and so, yeah, the idea here is the subtext is you are like channeling Izanagi and Marie was Izanami. So there's like a whole like star-crossed lovers, that Tree of Life movie thing going on here.
Was that the movie with like Hugh Jackman where he like sticks his face super close to the tree and it has like pubic hair almost?
I haven't
What?
I haven't seen it actually.
Okay.
But it's the one where like
which-
isn't it Natalie
which
Portman in
movie?
it?
Or is that the fountain that I'm thinking
Oh
of?
yeah, I think that's the one.
Which movie is John talking
The
about?
one where it's like this couple throughout history keep reuniting. I think
That's the fountain.
is that the fountain? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I
because
swear in the fountain
Rachel
there's
Weisz.
a part where like he goes to a tree and it has like little hairs on it that are like
Yeah,
responding to him.
In the fountain he's like traveling through space in like this glass spaceship with a tree in it.
Oh.
And he like meditates at the tree and eats the bark and all that stuff.
Oh.
Yeah, but it's very like erotic
Yes, yeah.
Oh. I'll have to watch these movies so I know what I'm talking about.
because the tree's a
You're-
vagina.
You're probably okay with it.
Okay. So then it defeats Izanami, and she's like, isn't ignorance true peace for humans? And we're like, no, look, we've told you this like 20 times now.
Yeah.
We don't want this. Nobody wants this.
I mean, what it really comes down to is Izanami's like, you don't need to wear a mask. It's your right to go out with that one. Doesn't that make you happier to believe that?
Have you ever thought about your freedom?
Have you ever thought about how the numbers are just lies anyway?
So then this lifts the fog in the TV world, and you already lifted the fog in the human world, and Marie is like, she comes back, she's like, hey, I was made out. Oh, you cut to the velvet room, and she's like transparent in there, and she's like, I was made up of those two Sagiri and the other her, the Okami one, and Izanami, and her true name for real this time is Izanami no Makoto.
None of this means anything to me. I mean,
Yeah,
I guess
I
it's
don't-
sort of like in Greek mythology, like you'll have Athena, and it's like sometimes called Pallas Athena or something else Athena or Athena of this and that. You know, it's like all of these different little gods that they kind of congealed into one myth. I think is where that sort of comes from, but it's just like it's meaningless.
No,
to
Vanessa,
us, I
it's
think.
very simple. She is the fertile will of those who live in the land, and she protects their wishes.
But what was she before then?
She was Makoto no Okami. No. Kimono. No. I don't remember. And then you got...
And which one is the dog from the game Okami, who's also a god?
well, all of them, like Izanagi and Izanami and Susanoo are all in Okami. So I guess maybe that will help us understand more about mythology.
No, that just makes it worse.
So then you cut to the Shadow World, and it's beautiful. It looks just like British Columbia inside the TV world.
It does.
It's like, oh,
And
hey,
they're like, oh my god, we're on Vancouver Island.
beautiful here. All these large Pacific redwoods. You got like a nice lake.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Did you guys notice there's a cannon, like an old Civil War era cannon that's like in front of one of the trees?
do you think that's like abandoned shadow bits? Because there's lots of cannons and fortresses, shadows.
I guess.
I don't know.
But anyway, they're like, well, now that we are in Victoria, BC, let's go have high tea at that nice hotel and visit the miniature museum.
Ooh, I love or the Bug Museum. Let's go to the Bug
That's
Museum.
a beautiful museum.
So Teddy is he's like, well, since it's nice here now, I'm gonna live here in the TV world. But Yosuke's like, well, you're just gonna come back every other day to get topsicles anyways. He's like, yeah.
Oh yeah, because they're like talking about how you is going home, and Teddy's like, but I'm going to be gone too, and they're like, you idiot, like First of all, no one cares, and also
Yeah, shut
you'll
up,
be
Teddy.
here every day.
And so, yeah, you're at the train station, everyone's there, and you're like, oh, I'll visit soon. I'm going to come for May break and probably summer vacation. Marie does not show up.
Yeah.
Teddy's like, well, you're like, oh, Marie's gone to a better place. And everyone's like, what? What? And you're like, oh, yeah, the TV world. And Teddy's like, I have a hottie for a neighbor now.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
And you get on the train, and you were like giving everyone like this cold stare while they're like running after the
they're
train.
like running and laughing and crying. Oh, and the sports bros are there. Like everyone who you've maxed out
Yeah.
essentially comes to say
I
goodbye.
had the Sports Bros and Yumi.
I had a moment with Naoto where Naoto's like, she didn't break up with me, like you guys were saying, but he was like, yeah, I guess I can visit, but it won't be quite the same. But I am like a world famous boy detective, so it's no problem to go wherever I want to go.
I saw what Matt was talking about in one of the YouTube, because I didn't pursue any romances, and I think Rise is like, well, I don't feel so bad about the long distance thing, but let's just kind of see how it goes.
Well, it's not just that.
no.
She's like, I'm going to be an idol, and you know what that means.
Oh yeah, because she can't have a boyfriend if she's an idol.
Yeah. It kind of
Yep.
implies like,
Sorry.
And then you get your first credits as you leave the city, like animated credits. But then, if you've done everything, if you've got all the bosses, you get an epilogue. Meanwhile, like
Yay.
6 to 10 hours before this, I was done. Like I was ready to get, and then there's like another half hour of this.
I remember I was like chatting with you while it was happening, and you're like, there better not be a post credit scene.
And there is. Summer vacation, going to Inaba, vacation, everything.
Yep. So you're back at the train station. You get off the train, and none of your friends are there to greet you, but you do see Namatame on his soapbox giving a speech.
Now, before this summer, Matt does want us to note, he does say he went back in May. This is important.
What?
It
he
does.
Doesn't seem
Yeah,
right.
before you leave in the train station, he says he's going to come back in May. And he does, and this is a whole other thing.
they do say when you get off, because now it's what? It's like July or August or something?
I think it's August, I think.
And they do briefly mention that you came back in May, but they don't really have anything else to say about that. And listeners, don't worry, because we're going to learn all about that on this month's Patreon bonus episode. We've decided to play Persona 4 Arena, the fighting game that is a direct sequel to Persona 4. And Persona 4 Dancing All Night, which is also a sequel to Persona 4, and actually I think takes place in between the you leaving and before May.
No, Persona 4 is like a year and a half later. Or, no, sorry, Dancing All Night is a year and a half later, I think.
Also, these games are not instant classics.
So we are going to, if you are hungering for more Persona content and want to know more about what happened in May, come back and listen to our August Patreon episode where we're going to discuss Persona 4 Arena and Persona 4 Dancing All Night. I've played a bit of Arena, and, it's fine. It's a lot of reading.
There's so much reading and Dancing All Night as well.
It's weird because, like, what I always complain about, I like fighting games, and I like story modes in fighting games, and they're usually terrible. Like, and the Injustice games have kind of done better ones in recent years than you usually see, but, like, I was playing Street Fighter V with my son, and we played the story mode, and it was, like, atrocious. So I was kind of excited to try this out, and, like, boy, do they go the opposite direction, where it is, like, an hour of yip-yapping in between 30-second fights.
Yeah, the fights are 30 seconds. Even the dialogue between characters lasts maybe a couple minutes. The rest of the time is like the inner monologue of whatever character
it's
you select. Where it's
crazy.
like the Inaba sun beating down on my
Yeah.
face, and it's like, what? What are we doing?
I'm about halfway through it, and I'm playing Naoto now, and I have to admit, it works really well for Naoto as a detective, because he's kind of doing like a hard-boiled thing, and I was like, ooh, suddenly this game's good.
Ooh, I like that.
Suddenly,
All right.
and it starts, Naoto's part of the story starts tying Persona 3 in, which tied a little bit in, if you remember, into 4. We went to that high school. Some of the Cease characters show up. Anyway, it's a fighting game, and it is designed partially by Arc System, whoever, the people that do the
Arc
BlazBlue
System
games.
works.
And it's a pretty good fighter. Like, the fighting that I've done, I like it. Once you figure out a couple of moves, it's pretty easy to nerf your way through.
There's good difficulty settings. The music game is the same in that, like, you don't get your first real full song until almost an hour into the game.
Yeah. I was doing what you were doing. I was doing to Arena what you were doing to Dancing All Night, which is I was speed reading through and not bothering with the voice acting. I mean, they voice act it all, which is nice that they go through to that much trouble, but it's too much to just, like, I'll fall asleep. It's so long. And they just repeat
Speaking of
themselves.
voice acting, here's a fun fact.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really apparent in the main game, but the character of you, the protagonist, is voiced by the same actor who voices Adachi.
It's
And
right.
In Dancing All Night, it's because your main character does not shut up. In Dancing All Night.
Yep.
And it's like, why is Adachi talking?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's weird. It's weird in Arena. I played a good chunk of that just today, and the whole time I was like, God, why he sounds just like Adachi? Like, how did this not creep everyone out in the game?
Right.
You know?
Well, in like the main Persona 4 game, your character just grunts and stuff,
Yeah.
so it didn't matter. But then they were just like, I don't know if it's intentional to like emphasize the connection between the two of them, or the like two sides of the coin or whatever.
Maybe. I don't know.
But it's weird
It feels like a cost-cutting measure. Like, we don't need another voice actor for the main character because, you know,
because he doesn't say anything.
we'll just get if the guy's good enough to play the main character, he's good enough to play the villain. I will say, in both Dancing All Night, which I've not played much of yet, but particularly Arena, I'm sure Dancing All Night as well. Great just listening to this music again. Like, I took a nap the other day listening to Dancing All Night and the Persona music in the background. I was like, this is so fucking relaxing and chill. Persona music's the best music.
so I will say, Persona 4 Arena is what, like $10 on Xbox Live?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say that too. So Persona 4 Arena was released on the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360. I don't know about the PlayStation 4, but I was able to buy the 360 version on the Xbox Marketplace on my Xbox One and play it on my Xbox One. Install and play
this
it on my
game
Xbox
is,
One. And it was $15.
Okay. And this game, their Ultimax is a different game than the one Matt is playing.
I'm not
That is
100% sure that
It's the sequel.
Is it a sequel? Because I
It
think that
is
it
a
just
sequel.
adds more content.
No, I looked at it. It's got a different
right.
story. It's a sequel to the story of.
So there's more to this?
there's another game if you want
I
to do
mean,
that.
I don't have time for that. So
And okay, so Persona 4 is only. It looks like it's only for sale on the Vita if you start looking through the store. It's
Persona
on PS4.
4 Dancing All Night.
Yeah, Dancing All Night. If you buy the Persona 3 and 5 bundle on PSN, it comes with Persona 4, and it's cheaper. So it's 3 games for $21 or $22 American or $29 Canadian. But in Australia, that pack that is I bought for $29.99 is $170 for some reason.
What?
So if you're in Australia, get the Vita version because it's way cheaper.
It's so confusing.
Yeah.
But with the bundle, you can play Persona 3 Dancing All Night, Persona 4 Dancing All Night, and Persona 5 Dancing All Night. Why do they keep making these?
I don't know. I'm going to stream some of this because it's pretty fun to stream, I think. And I'm really bad at rhythm games. So, but the game's easy. It does have a beginner's mode, and that's why I'm playing. So you get to Inaba in the summer. Namatame is there running for mayor, which I don't know. I feel like he's not ready. He seems a little little not ready for this.
Yeah, he still seems a little crazy. He's like, we have to know the truth and we'll make this town the best town. And people are like, well, I really admire his passion. He was arrested on suspicion of double homicide,
Yep.
but I
And
guess he seems
kidnapping.
okay. Yeah.
He definitely did kidnap someone.
He did do the kidnapping.
Yep. Dojima.
And I like how a woman comes up to you and she goes, do you know who that is? And you can answer yes, no, or I don't care.
Dojima does not pick you up from the train station. You walk over to his house. The door's locked. You call him, and he's like, "Oh, I forgot. I'm kind of busy. Go hang out with your friends." You go to Central Street. Everyone's like working together, and the whole street is revitalized because Juness is buying stuff from them. So like they have a local products section that's really helping local business.
Yeah, it still seems not quite the same because it's just going to be in this town.
Yeah.
It's just like, what, they get a shelf like for their goods? They used to have a whole district.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, Walmart.
Yeah. They also probably have to sell to Junus at wholesale, which means they're not getting the retail markup.
Right.
Yeah. You go to Juness, and you do see Yosuke and Teddy barely crouching, hiding like Vanessa and I hide in PUBG, which is to say very poorly.
I hide beautifully. When I lie in a bush, nobody can see me.
And Teddy does jump out. It is a surprise. Everyone has changed.
Teddy jumps out and yells, "Rah, it's a bear," which is my favorite thing ever. And they're like, "What?" And then everyone else runs in and they're like, "You two idiots just ruined the whole thing."
Everyone has changed. Like that's one thing that's fun about this is like everyone's grown up a bit, especially
Yeah.
Kanji, who's now got like black hair and is wearing his glasses and is like toned down his punk look, which does come back again. He goes back to his punk look for Dancing All Night, which I don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
Which I thought the game took place. I'll have to Google when it takes place. We'll talk about it on the bonus episode.
You know what? I'm going to look it up right now. I think it takes place like a few weeks after.
I feel like it takes place the next year, but I could be wrong.
I think the most egregious outfit change is Yosuke, who's wearing a t-shirt and the collar goes all the way out to the edge of his shoulders. It looks fucking stupid.
Like a really stretched out shirt of some sort.
Yeah, it looks awful.
Wait.
Okay, Dancing All Night takes place in the last days, late August 2012. Apparently.
So it's
That's
shortly
like 5
after
months
this
after you
game,
leave.
I think, would be when it takes place.
Yeah,
Shortly
you're
after
right.
this epilogue.
Yeah.
So after Arena, after this epilogue, but shortly after this epilogue.
So that means that Kanji goes back to being blonde right after this.
Okay.
Because it's
Huh.
his classic look.
You're right. That's weird. they all revert back to their classic looks.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is kind of
No.
sad. I like their new look.
Naoto goes for like the gender queer kind of ambiguous look in Dancing All Night.
Yeah. That's true, because Naoto sort of has... Well, Naoto's new look in the epilogue, Naoto's not wearing a binder anymore, but still is sort of androgynous.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's
In
kind of what Naoto settles on.
Mm-hmm. Chie looks heckin' cute. She has like a sort of sweetheart neckline yellow top and a gray sweater and a like black choker.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And Yukiko sort of looks like an adult woman. She has her hair up.
Yeah.
Yeah, Yukiko looks like she works in HR.
Yeah, and Rize has gotten rid of the pigtails, and Rize's like, "Do you recognize me, senpai? Is your heart racing?"
It's been 4 months, lady.
Hi."
Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a great line by Yosuke, which is something I firmly believe. No one wants to be the guy who says how great things were back in the day. And I 100% agree with that. Those guys,
Yeah.
it's good to keep changing and growing and to not get stuck in a rut.
Then you go back to Dojima's for special sushi or something.
He brings down the room by first opening with, "Oh yeah, I found out more about my dead wife. I think I might be able to solve this case."
Yeah, what the fuck? How is that
And then-
still a hanging plot thread in this game? Wrap that shit up. Have him let it go.
I
It
guess
was a hit and run. You're never going to solve
Have him
it.
tell his daughter. Does his daughter even know that her mother is dead? I don't think she does.
she does. She does. And he does tell you about, like, oh yeah, Namatame's out and running for mayor, and I guess that's cool. And Adachi, you know, I talked to Adachi, and he says he's treated better at prison than he was at the police force.
Yeah.
All he
Then
had to
he-
do was kill some people.
He also says, like, because if you do Adachi's, like, friendship arc, Adachi's always, like, looking for organic cabbage and stuff. And Dojima's like, next time I go visit him in prison, I'm going to bring him some cheap cabbage. But
Nanako.
I kind of like that he's, like, visiting Adachi,
Yeah.
you know?
No,
like,
I think when you are, if you're close to someone, even if they've done something terrible, I don't know. Like, I think that's hard. I think it's hard to.
yeah, it's a complicated situation.
Yeah. Like, it happens. You got to figure out how you're going to treat. Some people will write them off, and that's understandable. Some people will be like, well, you know.
Well, Dojima probably feels some sense of responsibility, rightly or wrongly, because Adachi was his junior partner.
Yeah. I guess everyone has hope that people can change and grow. And
I mean,
feel bad about it.
definitely it's a black mark on Dojima's record that the serial killer that was terrorizing his hometown for a year was his fucking junior partner.
Yep.
That's true.
Probably Dojima has been demoted by now.
Yeah.
Nanako comes in, and she's a lot bigger now, and she's learning piano.
Yeah. She's like, big bro.
Yay!
Now I can cook eggs and play piano.
And there's an amazing scene where you go watch TV for a second, and there on the TV screen is Marie, except she's going by the name Mariko, and she's the weather lady.
Yeah, she's great. And she's like, the weather this week will be sunny, but maybe you all have it rain in the morning or not. Someone really special's in town, so whatever he wants is what it's going to be like.
No one is noticing she's controlling the weather.
Well, Nanako, like, way back in the game had asked about, like, the old weather lady. Is this the lady who decides the weather? And then she asks the same thing, and you're sort of like, it looks like it.
Did that happen during one of Marie's social link episodes?
I don't know.
Oh, maybe.
What were you
That
saying,
would
Jim?
make sense, but I don't know.
I was gonna say Nanako mentions that whenever, whatever, it's implied that she makes the weather what she says
Yeah.
it's gonna be on TV.
I love this.
Which, like, okay,
And I guess Marie is an adult, which was never, like, really addressed when she was dressing Hot Topic style. But
I mean,
she's not like a
she's
God.
she's a
Teen
god. She's
weather
thousands
reporter.
of years old.
She's millennia years old.
Yeah.
she's wearing like a suit jacket and glasses and
So-
is a grown up now.
Basically, Inaba, this little town in Japan, has its own little personal god that is going to hang out and make sure everything's cool, which is a pretty nice ending, actually.
And then they all decide to shout in unison, "Welcome back," except that Kanji does say, "Good to see you, senpai," instead.
Yeah. They're just like, what's wrong with you?
And that's the end of the story.
that's Persona 4.
Can't believe we
we
did
did
it. My save
it.
was like 85 fucking hours. It was crazy.
Yeah, mine too. I think we did
It's
it
a
on the
long
fast side.
I mean, I enjoyed the shit out of this game.
So next time you're going to defeat okay, so this is the IGN misspelled it. They called him Baroque. So it's you're defeating the boss that's Broque Monsieur and his dog on the beach.
What?
In
Bowser's
Bowser,
Inside
yeah.
Whoa, that's right. We're playing Bowser's Inside Story.
Yeah.
What? What's Baroque? Can you be more descriptive? Because this game is nonsense and is really bad
He's-
about telling you things.
He's a blockhead man, and he speaks in a French accent.
And he has a dog.
Yeah.
And he has a big square dog.
Yeah. His name's Broque Monsieur, which is we'll talk about that next time.
Is this after all of the like playing around the water level, playing
Yes,
around?
right. It's pretty much the boss after that.
Okay, so I'm not quite caught up, but I'm almost there.
Yeah, I just played till I reached a sign that was like this way to leave the beach.
Yeah,
It's a little bit after that, isn't it?
yeah, but I mean it's close enough. This is a 2 to 3 hour chunker, I would say, of Bowser's Inside Story, of which I am very
It's a
excited.
breeze.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, that water level's not the greatest, but it's fine.
Yeah, it wasn't difficult.
I
it was
don't
just
think it's
tedious.
quite as bad as like Vanessa and Matt made it out. to
Oh
be.
my God! Don't say it like that, Vanessa.
It's a lot like the Zelda puzzle about like raising and lowering stuff, and
But you only have to. I think you only have to like raise and lower the water level inside of Bowser like 2 or 3 times.
except if you accidentally hit
Not
the X
that
button every time.
I did that approximately 10,000
me too.
times.
Every time it's the first button I hit after a fight is the X button.
Yeah.
Well, and then you have to swim by like mashing the A button and being like bloop 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 bloop.
Or
Or the
why?
Y button and have them both swim at the
Yeah.
same time.
Come on,
Oh,
Vanessa.
That's such a weird mechanic.
It is.
We'll get into
Just
it
use the Y
next
button all
time.
the time.
Yeah. So, Jim,
Wow.
Persona 4.
We did it. Yeah. I am roundly for this game. I played it for the first time a few years ago, and it was the first Persona game I ever played, and I loved it. I like this game better than Persona 5. It's my favorite Persona that I've played. So, roundly 4. Matt, you're grumbling over there. What are you grumbling about?
I am roundly for Persona 4, and it definitely is probably pretty easily the best game we've ever played on this show.
Wait, I thought you didn't like it as much as 3.
No, you thought wrong. I like it a lot. It certainly has a lot of problematic stuff, but I guess, you know, after fucking 80 some odd hours with it, I just have to accept the fact that I'm willing to accept that stuff in the game because it's so wonderful. I like drug playing the last chunker out about a week because I didn't want it to end. And I love it. And it's the best game ever. But it's not better than Persona 5, in my opinion. John.
Hi.
Hi. What did you think of Persona 4?
I really am roundly for this game, although I am squarely against how shitty it is to queer and trans people at some parts, and fat people. I think that the game has some major issues, and that whether or not you enjoy it will have a lot to do with how, if you can stomach it or not. Like, I think it's a big detriment to how unfriendly it is to queer folk and fat people. And, otherwise, I think it's a lot of fun. I love playing it. I love the characters. I do think the extra content of January, not great. I could have done without that extra 10 hours of gameplay. I was done by Christmas. I was like, this is a good place to end the game, but it drags it out. The extra boss fights were fine, though. And I do like that I played a lot of this game, and there's still about 4 social links I didn't even touch. More than that, I didn't finish like 7 social links, I think. So there's still a lot to do if you want to do a new game plus. And I like that. And I still wanted to do more Persona grinding. I never used the cards. I never did Margaret's quests. There's a whole lot of stuff you can do that I did not. That I don't know. I like it. I like it a lot. Vanessa, what about you?
I also like it a lot. I have also said in the past that it is my favorite Persona. I did play Persona 5 Royale recently and was kind of feeling on the fence about which one I liked better. But I do think I like this one. Again, you do have to overlook or just come to terms with its problematic elements, which abound. It helps to just like decide that you're going to make your own headcanon and, you know, just have it be what it be. Yeah, the Hanako stuff is pretty unforgivable. The kanji stuff and the Naoto stuff is not good. But I think it has one of the best villains we've seen in Adachi, because he is not trying to destroy the world or, you know, get Sin to become him or some bizarre thing. He's just very frighteningly real in his motivations. And it's very good, and it's just really well written. Like, it makes you love the characters, and that's what the game is really about. And if it wasn't for that, I don't know if I'd enjoy it at all.
I think there's something about the spending every day with like Dojima and Nanako that you become genuinely attached to them in a way that
Yeah,
this is
absolutely.
something really only video games can do, or maybe like a super long sitcom.
Or like a novel.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah,
You
it
know,
makes
super
it...
long
book.
sitcom.
Yeah,
A
it-
Family Matters marathon.
Exactly. Like by the end, it's like Laura and Steve are like
Yeah.
part of your family.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No, I think that's
Urkelbot
true.
just lives in the house.
But even more so than television, because it allows you to self-insert yourself into the world.
Oh, I imagine I'm Stefan Urkel all the time.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. And Balky.
Whenever I watch a TV show, I don't ever imagine I am one of the characters. I just make a Mary Sue for myself.
I'm
And I'm like, if I was in this TV world, I would be the best, coolest Vanessa they've ever seen. And everyone would be like, oh my God, you're the most beautiful, smartest character. Everyone's in love with you. And there's a big problem. Only you can solve it. You have the very special superpowers we need to defeat Thanatos, so there won't be a snap and everything will be great. Wow, imagine the world would have been so bad if you hadn't been here. Now you have to choose which Marvel guy to marry because they all want to marry you because you're the best.
She's the best.
The best.
Is that it? Are we
Yeah.
done talking about Persona
We
4?
have completed Persona. I mean, we're done talking about Persona 4 until we play those fucking spin-off games.
I'm having a real hard time right now. I'm seriously just two. Let me ask you guys a couple of questions. Question 1.
Okay.
If I was going to buy Persona 3, should I buy Persona 3 Portable or Persona 3 FES?
What are you talking about? We've already played that game for this show.
Who's talking about the show? Number 2.
Are you gonna play it on your own time?
Should
dork?
I? What?
I think
Or-
portable, because portable
Should-
like is faster, but it still has all the content.
Or should I just buy Persona 5 Royale for the Switch?
I would buy Persona 5 Royale.
But I
because
just
I
that's
enjoyed
the last
Royale
one
a
I
lot.
played, I think.
Yeah, but Royale really does have a lot of extra content. And it sort of changes the whole tone of the game.
Huh. Okay.
It does something that I haven't seen a Persona game do before. I'll put it that way.
Okay. That's interesting.
So, Jim, let's move on. Patreon.
Yeah.
$3 gives you all the bonus episodes. 5, including Instant Classic versus some silly level up stuff. $5 gets you those plus you can vote on upcoming games we play. And this is how we decide on Bowser. Jim.
Oh yeah, sure. I'll kick us off.
Oh yeah, patreon.com/Square Roots Podcast.
Patreon.com/Square Roots Podcast. All right. I will commence with the reading of the names. Brady A. Berman, Vor More Years, Toxic Jock Syndrome, Grayson, Hales, Sergeant Spaghetti, Ward Childress, Reddit is Harold Lauder, Vanessa's fourth mom, Matt Jorgensen, Andres Rivera, Jonathan Ellsworth, Gray Code, Dan, Sam Harrison, Cake Ninja, Tracy Tanoff, Jake Dickerson, Samu Mitchell, Adam Zimmerman, That One Guy, Matthew Newland, Jared Collins, Play Mother 3 or Quit Now Frauds,
Wow.
Paul Bursch, L'Oreal of the Claire, Wash in the Wind, Sean, Kevin Walter, Getting Too Into TV Will Literally Kill You,
Oh, no.
Andrew Leinart, Tom, Ross Hartley, David Shook, and Ari Corpivara.
We'd also like to thank George Brady, Huxley Iguana, Benjamin Avner, Stephen Paget, Captain Awesome, Jason Timms, T. Bumpkins, David Green, Cyril the Wolf, Stu Skeel, Every Day's Great at Your Square Roots, Aaron Bachman, Tyler Petty, Isaac Wright, Patrick Wubbs Bears, David Pascal, Matthew Casterline, D. Jethro, Cameron Shoei, Nawford, Kedakai, as God made her. Seltzer is the best drink, says the most boring person in the world. Joshua Bennett, Bobby Midkiff 2 Golden, It's Peanut Butter Jelly Time, Peanut Butter Jelly Time, Sean Walsh, Soy Soda Pop, I Don't Like Stan, He's Coarse, Rough, and Irritating, and He Gets Everywhere. Chris Wilder, Jonathan Smith, John Bearsona Brandon, Randy Pierce, Andrew Crossett, Robert T., mostly rational person.
Chief Hazard built Citrus C. Alexander Jokic. Oh my god, what is this game? Chili's Baby Back Mario. Amanda Douglas. Hooray! Bowser's Inside Story won. Unless it didn't, in which case this name is wrong, and boo. It did win. Tracy. It's a me, Vario. Andrew O. Jameson. Justin Ham. Hudson Roth. Wedge Kuhn. Teddy is a little creep. Teddy is a persona non grata. Hexagon. Still just cow. Devin Sloan, Ryan Miller, Dr. Fine, say everyone's name, Robert M. Pullum, Matt is TJ McMillerson III, Joseph, Michael Crawford, Christopher Highness, Robert J. Defendi, Ethan G. Pearson, Eric Garby, Vanessa Scruffy Distant Police Dad, Dojima, Saving Sid, Nathan Poirot, and William Westgard.
Christian Go, Kiva Moser, Race Jenkins, Gage Lacharte, Vanessa's Gold Taco Bell PS4, Sexy Grandma's Boy Toy is Jordan McNeil. PJ Ends, Mary, Queen of Scots, Sean Gonzalez, Unessa's mom, Andy Best, Wonder Swan, Bree Girth, G. Bailey, Vanessa's mom, Ron. You make Sulk sad, Chris Penyak, Mr. Mallard, Andy Smith, Chris Ryan, Andy M, Miguel Torres, Brian Pitt, Kenny Sloth, Zachary Fire Ant Harbison, Metal Gear Solid 1 in 2021, Shining Hopper, Armin Hammer, and Florian Jonas Kramer.
All right, everybody, that's it for this episode of Square Roots. If you'd like to reach us, you can do so at squarerootspodcast@gmail.com. Come see us at our Facebook group, the Square Roots Podcast Group, for smart, cool, very attractive people. Or you can tweet at us. We are at Square Roots Pod.
Hey, rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts. We love those. And thanks one last time to Gill Studio for letting us use their cover of Time to Make History. Links to their Spotify and YouTube are in the show notes. Vanessa is the best host.
Oh, well, thank you, John.
Why does it say that in there?
John will read whatever on the ticker.
All right, everyone, for Square Roots, I am Jim Banks.
I'm Matthew Van Zant.
I am Johnny Brandon.
And I'm Vanessa.
Bye.
It's a war out there every day. You can't hide from it. You gotta play by the rules, play it cool. Gotta laugh in the face of the sad disgrace. When your friends and foes look alike on the face of it. They miss their history, but they fight over a place in it. Yeah, they fight over a place in it. Hurried by the times, that's just how your life goes by. I know it's your truth for what you say, but there ain't no other way. So step on up to the plate. Meet your fate, walking straight on into the lion's lair. Step on up to the plate, 'cause this ain't no game. It's time to make history, yeah.
Let's
what is
kiss,
this
bro.
picture? What's this picture that you put in the chat?
Oh, God, it's the boar that stole the laptop.
I just ran across it on Twitter and wanted to share it with my friends. It's a
So,
naked
What
man.
am I looking
It's a
at?
naked old man chasing what appears to be a boar and some piglets that has his laptop bag in its mouth and is running away.
and
Through
also
a crowd
Matt,
of
Why
maybe
is he-
other nudists.
Why is he naked?
it was,
there's
a,
another
it was a nudist camp.
Yeah, there's another old man in the background that appears
Yeah.
to be nude.
It's a nudist camp, and the boar stole that man's
Some of them are
laptop
nude
bag.
and some of them are. It looks like only the men are nude, actually.
Yeah, that's...
I like this one guy on the right who's just like grinning. He has his mouth open. He's like, "Hey."
I also Matt
Maybe they're all men.
did offer a picture of the boss of Kasumi no Okami and of a woman dressed like Spawn, and they do look identical, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
It's
do.
pretty close.
Yeah.
The boss doesn't have the big collar that Spawn has, but otherwise, it's pretty
Right.
spot on.
Yeah.
Pretty spawn on.
on.
Ah.
Thanks for this aside that I'm going to have to cut out of the show because I didn't have shit to do with shit.
Since we've been playing some supplemental Persona materials where you won't shut up, which do you think is better?
I don't want to talk about that until we get to it, John.
Okay.
Why is it a secret?
Because we're going to get
We're
to it in
playing
the
the
we're going to
fucking
get to it
Persona
in the
4
show.
spin-offs.
Because they
We're
reference
gonna
it
play
in
'em.
this episode, and that's a good time to talk about it.
We're gonna play
I'm
'em.
gonna fucking edit you out of the whole episode. You don't shut up.
You know how Marie
so-
was going to disappear from the universe? That's what's going to happen to you.
So yeah,
Are
you
you in the
read.
TV world?
So
Jim looks like he's about to have a fucking heart attack. Are you all right over there, pal?
Yeah, my arm really hurts. Sure. We've talked about the Patreon quite a bit, but one perk that we didn't mention was that no matter what level you opt into the
Jim,
Patreon, we will read
we gotta
patron name.
we gotta talk about what the Patreon tiers are and stuff.
Jim's
gotta do
arm is leaking,
This-
as he has been telling us from before we even started recording. Jim, hold up your bloody arm so we can all see it as you wave goodbye.
Here's my bloody juicy
Oh.